Today on the TMZ Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the TMZ Podcast. I'm Charlie Cotton and today I'm joined by the heart and soul of the organization, Mr. Derek Kaufman.
The beating heart right here. I don't know if it's like a good heart or a bad heart, but it beats.
It beats.
It beats.
It
Thump.
beats for Harvey for TMZ.
Thank you.
You're a legend. We got some
We got
Derek,
some spicy ones.
some Derek-themed stories today. You're a lawyer here, so somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got some legal stories.
I don't think you invited me for the legal story, but we'll get to that. I think you invited me for this last story we're covering. But anyway.
We're going to talk about Trump's biggest lie yet, potentially. We're going to talk about the new UFC champion, Sean O'Malley, saying he's allowed to cheat on his wife because he pays for everything.
It's a modest proposal for married couples. We're going to discuss it.
But to begin with, Kim Zolciak, Kroy Biermann are getting divorced, ... again.
What a mess. So we're sitting in the newsroom yesterday, and in the afternoon, boom, new divorce docs. Kroy filed again against Kim Zolciak. He's looking to divorce. He wants sole legal and physical custody, all that good stuff. You know, the docs always just say irreconcilable differences or irretrievably broken, depending on where you are. Here in Georgia, they call it irretrievably broken, but you don't know what that means. We do, though, because we have sources. I mean, we've been watching this slow-moving wreck just happen because they called off the divorce and said, let's hunker down. We've got financial issues, but we really love each other, and let's let the love shine through. Well, the love is curdled. It's curdled again because our sources are telling us that it's just been nasty fights, one after the other, with Kroy threatening to go file for divorce. I mean, they're circling the drain, and it's over money issues. Who's paying this bill? Who's paying that? Coming down to
apparently
pennies.
they're like nickel and diming each other. Like,
Yes.
you know, you owe that for water. No, it's 163.25, not 23.
They never solve the issue of that they have, which is he thinks she's a degenerate gambler.
She is,
And-
allegedly.
Yeah, they're not making as much money. They're not as flush. He's very frustrated and nervous probably about like their financial condition, and she's over there, mama needs a new pair of shoes, ka-ching.
Yeah.
That is a recipe for disaster. You're
is.
married, I'm married. You know, disputes over money happen. You can imagine what it's like to live in my household.
You're very stingy, to put
Frugal.
it lightly. Frugal.
I think that's the
Tight.
nice way. Tight. I run a tight ship, and Mary's a little bit loose.
You're cheap.
Mary likes to have fun. She wants to live in the present. I want to live in the future.
That's
how I put it.
That's a good way to
And
phrase
as long
it.
as you have both of them, you can have fun in the present and future. But they are having a bad time.
They're having no fun in either.
No fun.
So they first filed 3 months ago. Both of them filed kind of separately, but they both were down.
Yep.
Then a month and a half ago, they took it back, said, no, God can help us through this. They were seen at church. They were leaning on religion. Now,
God came up short.
God was not. Maybe God wants them to be separate.
That's true. They didn't think of that. They said God's going to help us through, and God was like, time to tap out.
Yeah.
You guys need to go separate
I
ways.
messed up on this relationship. Let's
bad.
start again. So Kroy is also now asking for sole legal and physical custody of their 4 kids. He's asking for child support, alimony, and attorney's fees. I thought Kim has no money.
This is wild to me because, look, he's a retired football player. I think I've made sense of it, though. So they have 4 young kids, 4 minor children, and Kim obviously has her 2 older daughters, but they're out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
I think he thinks she's a terrible influence on the kids. I believe that he sincerely believes he would be a better role model for the kids. But Kim still has sort of a reality presence. Kim can go out to Bravo and say, hey, let's do another wacky reality show. I'm still a big deal. Kroy's earning potential is over. You know, Kroy has his NFL retirement pension, but his earning days are over. I think I looked it up with Devin yesterday. He earned around $14 million during his career, which is no small bit of money, but one cruise on a riverboat, you can spill a lot of it. And he's got casino debt and all this sort of stuff.
Oh, Kroy does too?
Kroy does too.
So
Kroy's been sued over casino debt.
Oh, so he's a gambler as well.
I think they like to hit the slots. I don't know. I don't know. These are just lawsuits that we're looking at, so who knows his side. But
this is going to get even messier, because it was messy as hell for like a few weeks. Like, they were bitter at each other, calling the cops on each other. There's that famous like body camera footage of cops being inside their house and they're both like bitching about each other. Well, now it's going to get even darker.
Why didn't they harness this energy, though? This is reality show energy, because behind those closed doors, all we see are the divorce filings and rumors of they had nasty fights. They should be rolling constantly. This should be a reality show.
I mean,
because
it should.
This is the kind of conflict that people want to watch, but apparently with the kids, it might be just too nasty to sort of air out.
It's kind of too real.
Yeah.
Which is something you shouldn't say about reality TV. You want it all to be real. But this is the realest stuff they're going through right now. I agree. I think maybe they dropped the divorce in the first place, maybe because of this point, because they're stronger as a business together. Separately, I mean, I don't know. Yes, you're right. Kim has more earning potential, but I still don't care to see her like...
She's stronger with Kroy. They're stronger together. A reality show of the wacky goings-on in their house could have some fun, could have some conflict. I think it's just too much conflict. How do you build a season around them just yelling at each other over the Verizon bill? I mean, they have no happiness, it seems like, and so Kroy just pulls the plug. And to be around kids, you want a reality show where you're just at each other's throats saying the nastiest things possible, because our sources are saying, like, they hurl some barbs. And I've been in fights with Mary where, you pull into the quiver for some deep cuts.
Oh, really?
You know that
Do you get really, like, aggressive and shouting and being rude?
We get after it.
Oh, really?
We get into verbal sparring, and she knows all my weak points. You know, you think you know that I don't like to take my shirt off in hot tubs. She knows that plus everything.
Give us another tidbit about stuff about you that goes on behind closed doors.
She just knows my whole family dynamic. She knows all the weak points. And I'm sure Aaron knows them about you.
Mary picks apart your family.
Oh boy.
Oh
no holds barred, bro.
What a lovely relationship you guys are in.
But there's also a lot of love. When you have that much passion in your fights, you also have that much passion in your love. Okay. I just want you to know that.
That's gross. That's gross, because I know another rumor about you and what you're packing, and I don't think Mary's
unfounded rumors. All right.
Okay, on to our next story. Trump was booked yesterday. He had his mugshot taken yesterday. And on the form that he wrote, like, about his stats, he said he was 6'3", white male, strawberry blonde hair, weighing 215 pounds.
6'3", 215. People went wild. This guy hasn't seen 215 since maybe that cameo in Home Alone 2. Like, this guy is not 215. Mark Meadows, who was also wrapped up in these indictments, is listed at 6'1", 240. Have you ever seen Mark Meadows next to Donald Trump?
He towers over Donald Trump.
He looks bigger, first of all. He looks taller, and he also doesn't look heavier. He looks around the same sort of girth, and he put 6'1", 240. Trump says he's 2 inches taller and 25 pounds lighter than Mark Meadows. There were basketball players people were putting up who were 6'3", 215, who are just chiseled bricks of people.
Lamar Jackson was compared against him because he's got the same stats, Lamar Jackson, football quarterback. Are you allowed to write whatever you want on there?
I think it is probably self-reported. It's got to be like sort of within a range. If you put something wildly off, they need to be able to identify you, but they don't need to know exactly 25 pounds. I mean, everyone knows what Donald Trump looks like, so I don't think it's important to actually measure and actually weigh him. But typically, you need those stats so that you know the person standing in front of you.
I would have loved someone at the courthouse, like, just looking at these stats and going, "No, sir, step on the scales." You know what I mean?
Sir, you want to take another? Try that again.
Try that again. This does not seem right.
What'd you think of the face, man? I thought he'd go smile like, I'm above this. He went anger.
Yeah, I assumed he was going to go for smirk.
I did too.
And I assumed that he would be practicing the smirk in front of the mirror, because even before the mugshot came out, this was going to be one of, if not the most
famous mugshot in history.
Famous photo in history.
We have a president in a mugshot. A guy who's running for president who was just president, not some old mugshot from his youth, currently over interfering with the election.
Is there a more famous photo that exists in the world?
I can't think of one. I mean, I honestly can't think. This will go down in history. I mean, there's obviously many, many famous photographs from history. The girl running with the napalm on her and all this kind of stuff. I don't know why I brought that up. It's very dark as well.
Yeah, it's supposed to be comedy.
But this photo, there's an old mugshot of Frank Sinatra, which was a big deal. You ever seen that?
Yeah.
But it's when he was a kid. This is the guy running for president. He's got the tie. He's got the red tie. This is a man who's going to be potentially president again, and he's glowering. I just thought he'd do the smirk. I thought he'd say, this is a joke. The prosecution's a joke. I'm above it. They can't touch me, but he went anger.
He also used a bail bondsman So which means like he had to pay 200 grand, for bail. But if you pay the bail bondsman 10% of that or something like that, then they'll pay the 200 grand. You just give the bail bondsman $20,000.
Right.
Why doesn't Donald Trump give the $200,000 himself? I thought he has the money.
So he probably does have the money. I know we like to joke that he doesn't have 200 grand. He probably has 200 grand, but you don't want to give up all your cash. You want to make sure to keep as much cash as you can because you got to pay his lawyers. You can't pay your lawyers with bail bondsmen. So you want to give the bail bondsman 20 grand and say, look, I'm not fleeing. You don't have to send Dog the Bounty Hunter after me, but you put up the 180.
Right.
You'll get all your money back with interest and I'll keep hold of my cash. But everyone's going to take their pot shots that he doesn't have even 200 grand. He's in there looking, getting the nickels out of the couch. I think he could probably cover it.
This mugshot, I think, will be it's going to be iconic. It's going to be
iconic.
around for the rest of our lives. We're going to see it everywhere on T-shirts, on bikinis, on, you know what I mean? Or maybe
These are
not
wild
bikinis.
times. We've got Rudy Giuliani mugshots. I mean, we are living in dizzying times.
This is what a lot of people were sort of waiting for. Just I just want to see him in handcuffs, or I just want to see his mugshot. And now you got it, but it's not all what you thought it might be. Is in a fantasy situation. He's still got a very real chance of winning presidency.
He is running away with the Republican nomination. That clown show that they showed was everyone running with 10% of polling.
Yeah.
He's running away with it. Each time he gets indicted, he builds a larger lead.
Right.
That's how weird this country is. And they see more indictments and they're like, that's our guy.
No, he said something if you indict me one more, I only need one more indictment to get the nomination. But if he's up against, say, Biden, then anything can happen.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
And I will say, just to touch on the debates because they happened this week, you felt the absence of him. I know that he is, to a lot of people, and including me, just a grotesque figure, but his charisma is undeniable. When they're on stage sort of imitating him, it looks hollow to me. It looks like guys trying to act tough or trying to be Donald Trump because that's where the party is and that's where politics are. No one's him. And I'm in awe of it because he is just an absolute presence. He dominates when he's on television for a reason because you're just captivated.
He's
even
good
if
TV.
You're grotesque.
He's good TV.
He is good
compelling.
TV.
Okay, on to our final story. A newly crowned UFC champ, Sean O'Malley, has gone on a podcast less than a week after he won the belt to say that he is allowed to cheat on his spouse. Her name is Dania Gonzalez, and they have a 3-year-old together. He basically says because he's a king, because he pays for everything, he's allowed to dip out and get a bit of meow meow.
Wow.
Whenever he wants. That's the deal.
It's staggering. I mean, he says it very, very directly. I'm a king. I pay for everything. If I get a little on the side, what does that do to anything? We haven't heard from Danya, but maybe she's down for this. There's two ways to look at it. If Danya's down for him, doing whatever he wants, and I'll take care of the kid because I'm a queen, and I'll just, keep the house nice and buy myself purses with his money and so forth. I guess it's okay to each their own. I don't know how you can get these terms, though. Do you negotiate this beforehand?
Yes.
You do, right? You say, look, I am who I am, and if you get down this road, I'm out there. After fights, I like to get a little strange.
I don't think you change the rules during the game. You know what I mean? You have to set the game.
It's a lot harder to.
It's a lot harder to, that's for sure. But kind of in his defense, Sean O'Malley, he says, we've had some dope threesomes. Every relationship should be okay with it. It just needs to happen. And he says that they have spoken to each other about, somewhat of openness in their relationship. Though he says...
Yeah, is it open for her too?
No.
Yeah, that's what's strange. And to me, if I could take just a small bit of seriousness, they have a 3-year-old daughter. So the model that they're setting for her is that mommy has to be completely loyal. Daddy can do whatever he wants. It's a little gross. You have a young daughter. I have young kids too. I have a young daughter and a young son. You're modeling for them what life looks like. And you see it every time. They're just sponges. They're just looking at you to see, is this cool to do? When I make a funny face, he's like, oh, should I make funny faces? That's cool to do?
But the kids aren't sort of they don't know the goings-on of their parents' love life.
They don't, but he's so public that this will be very readily accessible when she's older and can see, what did daddy say about mommy? I would like to learn about their relationship.
But also, aren't you being a little bit prude? You know what I mean?
Sure. Maybe this is very modern.
If this works for them, and you would hope that Danya's aware of all of it because he's going on a podcast talking about it and now the story's kind of gone viral.
Yeah.
You would hope that she's aware of it. I think maybe making it public like that is maybe a step too far.
Yeah.
If you've got your own, everybody's got their own sort of relationships going on that it's private.
Although making it public, he can then, because he's out and about, maybe he's in Vegas and people see him with women and they take pictures and they send it into some news outlet and try to out him. And he can just say, I said all this. She knows all this. What are you doing? Stay away from me. This is our relationship. Here's the issue that I would want to put to Sean O'Malley. And you tell me how you'd respond to this. Yes, this maybe is very modern. Maybe Danya's involved. Maybe Danya's on board. It's totally okay. Would Sean want this for a relationship with his daughter when she gets older? Would he want the guy to come in the house, the new UFC fighter, when he's retired and he's a 50-year-old guy sitting there drinking beer, and he's like, hey, I'd like to date your daughter, but here's the thing. I like to do it like you did it.
Yeah, no.
How is he on that?
He comes to the house to meet Sean and the daughter with a different date.
Yeah, good day. I have a little YouTube video of you. This is how I'm going to do it with your daughter. How does he react then? I don't think well.
Yeah, you don't really have a leg to stand on when you're Sean in that case.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And I don't guarantee, but I almost guarantee that Daniel wouldn't love it. You know what I mean? If he's out cavorting with lots of girls and like now he's on this podcast sending out the bat signal saying basically come at me when you see me in the Vegas club, I'm down.
Yes.
She probably
tolerates it.
Yes, he probably pays for their lifestyle. So it's very hard for her to sort of up and leave and with a 3-year-old.
Yes.
This would never work in my relationship. I always struggle to understand how it does work in other relationships because do those people just not possess the emotion of jealousy?
Yeah, but maybe it's hard to understand it in this context, right? The asymmetry of she's not allowed to do it, but he is.
Yeah.
I can understand it if it's just an open relationship. To me, it always seems like, well, what kind of relationship is it if you're doing that? But to each their own on that, as long as it's sort of symmetrical. But where one person gets all of the I get to go out and graze, and the other person has to stay home and fold laundry. How is that stable? No one likes that over the long term. Maybe she's like, the thing I like is not sex, and he goes out and has sex elsewhere, and I like fancy clothes. Maybe it works.
Maybe
she's getting what she wants. Maybe she just wants a baby.
Yeah, that could be. We don't know the goings on. Listen, if you lost your job here at TMZ,
yes,
and Mary was
always on the table,
was a sole breadwinner. Mary was a sole breadwinner, and she goes, "Look, I'm a queen, Derek. I'm a queen. I'm going to go out there, get some strange, and you're going to just sit back and fold the laundry."
Look, I want her to find happiness and fulfillment, and I can provide very
little of it.
If I'm not bringing in money, I don't know that I bring a whole hell of a lot to the table. So I could understand. I'd understand the move.
Okay, I'd like to see Mary and Sean O'Malley out together.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
From ringside.
Yeah. All right, Derek, thanks for joining me, mate.
Good to see you.
And we'll see you guys here next week. Bye.